Hello, this video is about my project management software called Podio. This is a web-based system and I'm using it to organize all of my properties, all of my deals, all of my sellers, pretty much all of the information for my business. So I want to walk you through Podio so that you know how to enter information about sellers, about properties into Podio. You will be using this when you're doing due diligence on properties primarily. So I will have already invited you to join my Podio system at this point, and you will have reached this stage where you're just at the home page essentially for my Podio site, and you will go to choose a workspace and you will choose a county. Each that we are working in, or that the property you're doing due diligence for, is located within. Each county forms a workspace. So let's go to Costilla County, Colorado, where I buy a lot of property. All right. So the first thing I want you to see is these items across the top are called apps. And apps are basically the interface where we enter information about properties. Also, here is a space where we can communicate with each other by sharing. So you can type a little message here, "Hi Scott," and then use @ and then my email will come up so that I will get notification that you sent me a message. As you can see, Jessica's email came up here because I'm using the site now, and this is if I want to send Jessica a message. And then I would just hit share, but I'm not going to do that now, so I'm going to delete that. Okay, so to start due diligence, first you will go to the Sellers app. Okay, and this card here is a seller I have already entered, but we're going to start a new seller, so I will click the Add Seller button, and I will simply enter in the information as it's laid out on this app. It's pretty simple. Contact name, address, phone, email. So you'll just type in the contact name. This information will all be on the signed purchase offer that I have given you, or I will communicate the information to you just by email or somehow. So you'll just simply enter this information. An address, 123 Elm Street, phone number, email, and if we have a PDF, if I give you a PDF file for the signed purchase offer, please place that file here. You can drag and drop files into this space, or you can navigate to it on your computer, whichever is more convenient. So I'll just let's just pretend this document here on my desktop is a purchase offer. I'll just drop it there. Okay, and it's gonna upload, and it's taking a minute. There. Okay, so now I've got a file there, so we conveniently have our signed purchase offer right there, and then we will click Save Seller. Okay, so we have a new seller card essentially in the Sellers app. So there's the new seller that we just entered. Okay, so you've got your seller information in. The next step is due diligence. So you click on the due diligence app, and we will click. This is a property I already completed due diligence for. We're going to add a new property, clicking that button. Okay, first the property name will just be the seller name, so just use the last name, comma, first name. We want to keep track of which stage we're at with the property, so you will just click due diligence begun. Oh, here, I forgot to put something in. Okay, due diligence begun, related seller. Now this is actually a pretty handy little feature. We click on that and it allows us to select the record that we just created in the seller app. So this is the one we just created, so I'll click on that. That's very handy for keeping track of which due diligence is related to which seller and sort of communicating across apps that way. Here we put in the reference number, which of course is on the purchase offer. Here we put in the offer amount, which is on the purchase offer, or I have told you that number. APN, also on the purchase offer. Now we start getting into the information that you're obtaining from the county treasurer. You've got the total back taxes here. Some notes you might want to make about back taxes, status of the current tax bill. Let's say that current bill is paid, so we click that box. Properties Owners Association, not here. Status of current POA fees, well, since it's not in a POA, there's no status, so we just ignore that. Amount of unpaid POA fees, again, that's not a factor with this property. Assessor's property card. Now, you already went to the assessor's website and you took a screen grab of the assessor's property card. So I want you to just drag and drop that screen grab into this area. I'll just use an image to show you what that looks like. That's going to get uploaded. It's going to take a minute there. So that'll just show that there. So that if that were the assessor's card, that would just be very handy to always have that there to refer to. Deeds, you've at this point you've obtained the deeds, you've taken screen grabs of the deeds showing legal descriptions and grantee information, so you will just drag and drop deeds into this area, and in most cases we will have 3, or sometimes we'll just have 1 or 2. However many you have, you will drag and drop them into that area. You can do successive files within the deeds area or within any of these image areas. Okay, now you're just going to type in vesting deed type, warranty deed, special warranty deed. You're going to type in the owner on the vesting deed. This is the exact owner as it is, as the grantee is written on the most recent deed. Chain of title notes, I'd just like you to enter in anything that came up when you did the chain of title search. Maybe nothing came up, so then I would like you to just write no issues, clean chain of title. Are there liens against the property? You have called the county to look into this, and you will simply write no or yes in this line. Notes on seller discussion. This is pretty much going to be information that I will put in to this record as I'm negotiating with the seller. And then there may be files that we want to add to this due diligence record, and we can do that by dragging and dropping a file in here. And when we've entered all this information, we will click Save Property. And I want to mention that you have of course also read the due diligence and property information instructions that I've provided, so you know that at certain stages you're going to notify me before you proceed. For example, if the back taxes are really high, you are going to tell me this. If you don't have a record that the seller is actually on the deed, you're going to tell me that, because that could be a deal breaker. And we're going to be communicating back and forth as you do the due diligence, and you can send me little notes, share things with me using the function that we just looked at in this Costilla County workspace, in the sharing function. So we've entered all this information. We'll click Save Property. There. Okay, and we can of course always come back to that and enter more information. So now we're going to go back to the workspace, and we're going to go into the Properties app, and we're going to add a property. And this is all the property information that I am going to use as I market the property, and pretty much everything I do related to this property in the future. This is the basic property information that I need. Generally, we won't start entering this information until the property has passed due diligence. So the first is the property name, which is just the road name that the property is on. That's all. Related due diligence property, that's the information we just entered under due diligence. So we're going to click on that so that we can reference the due diligence information to the property information. stage. In most cases, you're just going to click due diligence because we're basically still doing due diligence as we complete this information. And once this is all done and we're ready to buy the property, we'll click closing. Eventually, we'll click marketing. I'm going to probably be managing this for the most part. So when you initially enter property information, just click due diligence. Okay, assessor's parcel number, owner on vesting deed, which you'll just take from the due diligence record you just created. Legal description, this is the description taken exactly from the deed, never from the assessor's property card, always directly from the deed, word for word as it is written on the deed. Property market value, you get that from the assessor's website. Current tax bill amount, you get that from the assessor's website, or the treasurer might have communicated that to you. Assessor's acreage, that comes from the assessor's website when it's available there. Map acreage, you will get that measuring the acreage on the county GIS map, which you learned how to do in an instructional video. GPS information, again, you learned how to do that in an instructional video. Google Maps link, you will take the GPS coordinates for the center of the property, paste that into Google Maps, which will bring up a map of the property with a red pin, and you will simply copy that URL from Google Maps and paste it into here, and that'll put a Google map onto this record, which is very convenient. Zip code, just Google the nearest town name zip code, and you will get the zip code that this property is in, and we'll need to have that recorded as well. And then all this information below here for the time being, until I have trained you to gather this floodplain topography elevation information, I'm just going to go ahead and enter this data in myself. So you click Save Property. There. Now we've got another property entered in right here. I want to show you what that Google Maps link looks like here. Right here, see? That's just, I entered in the link and it provides that map, and now we can click right here and it'll open up a Google Maps window with the property. That's just super handy feature. And then when you're making regional maps of the property as part of the marketing package for the property, that'll just be really handy for you to simply open up, click on that Google Maps link and go right to a map of the property. And you actually have to hit the back key to get back to Podio when you go to Google Maps. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about on Podio for now. Hopefully that gives you most of what you need. Please contact me if you have questions. And just going back to the Costilla County workspace, you can talk to me using this function at sotaylor00@gmail.com. Scott, I have a question. Scott, I need some additional information, and then just clicks share, and I should get notified. Thank you very much.